everyone, Ultrapro here again for another video. I'm guest presenting a special edition video for the Retro Video Gamer channel. This particular episode is a console special feature. It's an overview, a quick overview and a quick sort of, not really a system review, because I don't really feel that I'm in the position yet where I can actually review the console and give it a score out of 10 or anything. I didn't really want to do that. I just wanted to give people out there an overview of the system, let them know what I think about it, and I wanted to go over some of the good points and all the things that I've found so far with the system. I've only had it for about 2 months, and yeah, so I just wanted to go through with you my initial thoughts on the Turbografx 16. This is the PAL version. So, okay, what we have right here is, this is the basic package that it came with. So you've got the unit there itself, you've got the original turbo pad that came with it, and I like the fact that each button, 1 and 2, each button has its own fast or slow setting. Those are really handy for shooting games like Dragon Spirit, where I can speed up the fire of the normal weapon or slow down the fire of the secondary weapon. Things like that are really helpful. And yeah, I just wanted to go through some of the things about the system with you. First of all, I'd like to point out there have been a number of rumours and misconceptions thrown about over the internet regarding the PAL version of the Turbografx. One in particular being that you can only play it via RF, which is totally false. The console comes with, as standard, a wonderful composite cable. I like the nice big chunky plugs. They make you think that they've, they're hard wearing, they're heavy duty. Everything on the Turbografx is like that. The controller plugs, they're massive and chunky, and you get the power supply with it. Now, the only thing that I had to do with this console to get it to work was to use one of these, because it comes with a European 2-pin. But it's absolutely no big issue, because you can just use a shaving plug. They sell them in bulk in places like Asda and Tesco's. 99p, if that. So anyway, the other thing about the system was people have been moaning, apparently, people have been rumour mongering that its build quality isn't all that great. But I think that's a load of bollocks basically so far, because I've got nothing wrong with it. I mean, other than fingerprints all over it, I find it to be quite a heavy duty, hard wearing, nicely made bit of kit. It's, it's solid, it's sturdy. It's got this bit that comes off the back here, which covers the expansion port for the CD edition, the CD add-on, much like the Mega CD. There were various different variations of this console. If I just give you a little bit of a background information on the system. Okay, so obviously it's the Turbografx 16, or the Turbografx 16 Entertainment Super System, or the PC Engine it's called in Japan. It was released in Japan on the 30th of October 1987, and in North America on the 29th of August 1989. It's got an 8-bit CPU and a dual 16-bit GPU. There were various different variations. There was just plain Turbografx, there was the Turbografx 16, there's all sorts of different released versions. There was a Super Graphics released as well. I think it's important to note that the NEC Turbografx, it actually outsold the Mega Drive in Japan, apparently, so I'm told. It had worldwide sales of 10 million in total, and it ran on what we call a Hue card. I don't know why they called them that, but they are called Hue cards. There you go. Now, some of you may think to yourself, that's a bit bizarre. Why would a game come on a card? Well, it's not actually that unusual, because there was a another system in particular that you might know that also used cards for games, and that would be the original Master System. It used both cartridges that went in the top, and it used a cart slot as well. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about with this was a lot of people have moaned about the fact that the console only had one controller port. While initially I thought that would be a bit of a limitation, it really isn't that big of a deal, to be honest, because when I went online on eBay a couple of weeks ago, my good friend Simple Simon, he's a brilliant seller on eBay, absolutely phenomenal, sold me a Turbo Tap and a Turbo Pad, brand new in their boxes, in their cases, never been used, never been opened. I must have spent £15 on the both. And I'm actually really chuffed with the secondary controller that I bought, because it's obviously, I think it's one of the more American style ones. But I actually prefer this controller. It's got the orange and yellow styling on it rather than the blue and red. Now the other thing, there were a lot of other misconceptions around the PAL released Turbografx. I was under the impression that it just had a normal PAL release like the Mega Drive or the Master System, but it hadn't. It had a very limited run release in European regions, and there were no actual European versions of the games released, or if there were, I've never seen any. There were very few, if there were. So the European version runs on American versions of the games, and a lot of people online have been basically saying that they think that the games have graphical problems because they weren't made for the PAL or European version of the console. I'm going to disprove that little theory today, because I'm going to hook the system up to my TV in the spare room in a minute, and I will show that it doesn't have any real graphical issues. For a 25-year-old console, it's got no more or less graphical issues than a Mega Drive or a Master System would have had, with sprites and whatnot. You know, the inherent graphical inconsistencies that you would witness, you know, at any system in that day and age. For some reason there was a rumour that it only worked on RF. But obviously I've already shown that that wasn't the case. You had to actually use this adapter system to run it on RF, which is very unusual. I don't know how it would have worked. Can't be bothered to even try, to be honest, because the RCAs, or composite, whatever you want to call them, they work perfectly. In general, it's possible that if I'd had one of these around the same sort of time as the Mega Drive, and had it had as much widespread coverage and, you know, games being released in my region as the Mega Drive did, it's quite possible that it could have been a favourite console of mine for the time. So yeah, all in all, I absolutely love this little system. I love the little games. I think some of them are really brilliant. The picture's good, graphics are good. Oh, that was the other one. That was the other myth or rumour around the Turbografx, was that the picture had, because it was it was playing American games on a PAL system, it had black borders or whatever. Those don't exist, and there's no graphical glitches either. So we're going to cut now to another video of me in the spare room with this all hooked up, playing, and I'm going to show you the picture how it looks. So I will see you in a minute. Okay, so here we are back again for another part to this video. I'm just going to hook up the Turbografx now. Yeah, so it's very simple to hook up. There's a big PSU that comes separate, much like the Xbox 360. You know, they had the PSU outside. Don't know why, but it doesn't really matter. Okay. Now, in case you're as confused as I was when I got this, the way to set this up is you have the power in there. You can put this back on, and it will conceal and hold the cable. AV goes in there. Okay. Now, I haven't really spoken that much about how I feel about this system, and I think I'll just explain briefly. I never heard of this console before. I'd never really heard of it before, and I didn't really find out much about it until I met Kieran, until I met Laird, and he basically introduced me to the system and explained a lot of the things about it and a lot of the facts and interesting things about the system that I didn't know. For instance, that it's basically in theory it's only really an 8-bit console, but it actually does handle more sprites than maybe even the Mega Drive or whatever. So anyway, yeah, I found out about it through him, and I tried it at the RetroVision this year, and I decided that I wanted to pick one up, and so I got it for brand new, and yeah, I've kind of fallen in love with it. I really like it. I've not got a huge selection of games yet. I've got about 18, 19. I'm not planning on getting too many more, but I really like the system, and I want to prove to you guys how easy it is to get it to work and how easy it is to run, and how reasonably priced it all is as well. I mean, the new pad cost me maybe £6 or £7. The Turbo Tap cost me £6 or £7. Each game, if you just buy it as a card, they maybe cost $7 or $8. I got 10 in my bundle with the actual console, and it works perfectly in PAL. I was worried that it might not work properly, but it works fine. So I'm going to show to you now how it looks. So straight away you can see the picture fills the screen more so, I would have thought, than even like Mega Drive. It's a really good system for shooters. So far I've only got like 4 or 5. I've got Sidearms, I've got Blazing Lasers, I've got Dragon Spirit. I just love how well it works. I mean, it's just reliable. I thought because it was so old that it just wouldn't work and whatnot. Even though it was brand new and had never been used, I was just concerned that it might not work. But you just power it on and it just works immediately. Just literally straight in. No buggering about. Now, the only graphical glitch that I've so far noticed with this console, and it's not really a graphical glitch, I'm using the wrong terminology, it's just a sprite flicker, which is inherent with all 8 and 16-bit consoles really, is this bit here. I don't know if you can even notice it. But when those green bolts come down on the bloke, they do kind of flicker. But that is the only glitch. This would have been the sort of game I would have played in the arcades. I would have literally stood for hours just back in the early 90s. This one. Doo-doo-doo. It's such a... It seems like such a basic shooting game. Like, who could get any fun out of this? It just seems so basic to begin with. And I like the fact that you can shoot enemies in the air that are coming at you, but you also have to fire at things on the ground as well. There we go. It's very different from the Mega Drive and the Master System. It gives a different flavour. It's got a different style of music. It's got a different graphical style and a different control style as well. There's just something about these old video game systems that you just don't get nowadays. They're just top quality. They don't make them like they used to, as is often the case. I know it's a cliche, but I really don't give a toss. I think you can't beat the classics. Balls. Just there's an eclectic array of games on it. Now again, anyone who knows me knows that I've never been a big fan of pinball. Never have I been a big fan of pinball games. I would never go out of my way to buy a pinball game on a console, because I was always quite happy with... Yeah, see, I'm a bit shit, and I'm also trying to look at two screens at once. I apologise. God. Fucking hell. What's going on with me? But yeah, graphically this game is brilliant. Yeah, this is such a brilliant, unusual pinball game. I would never normally bother with a pinball game, but with this and Alien Crush, I just find myself getting addicted to them. Because they're an unusual style. They're almost like an arcade action game, but with bizarre, unusual themes, like Alien Crush obviously being UFOs, aliens, this one being demons, devils, sorcerers. So anyway, that's the Turbografx for you. I'm going to go back to the other camera now. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed my my Turbografx video today. I've certainly enjoyed sharing it with you. I actually really love this little system. I'm starting to really enjoy it. I need to find some more games for it that I really like. So far I've got about 5 or 6 that I really enjoy playing. I urge you to buy a secondary control pad and the Turbo Tap while they're all cheap in price. I strongly urge you to pick yourself up a Turbografx if you enjoy the Mega Drive and the Master System. It is much more geared towards arcade style games. But for that very reason, I think it's actually quite brilliant, because I miss all the old quality arcade, 2D sprite arcade games that were so abundant in the 90s and the 80s. And this system really sort of captures that. It really captures that feeling and that time and that experience, and it bundles it all up for me, and it just lets me enjoy it again and again. And I'm definitely going to get some more games. Keep your eyes peeled on this channel and my channel for some more stuff on the Turbografx soon. But anyway, pick one up now. You would definitely regret it if you miss out. I think it's a wonderful little system, and I think everyone should see it and play it. I hope you enjoy the video, and I shall see you soon.